what's your overall take on the hypercar market right now? Because it seems like we got Stradman selling his Koenigsegg. We got TJR trying to sell his Koenigsegg.
Is he trying to sell it?
Yeah.
He's trying to sell his Koenigsegg.
Yes.
Don't buy Koenigsegg. I don't know. I have no stake in Koenigsegg at all. Realistically, the hypercar market it's so interesting because back 20 years ago, the only hypercar you can really get was the Bugatti Veyron. And that was the biggest deal in the world. It was $1 million, like $1 million car. That is crazy. 1,000 horsepower. It does 250 something miles an hour. It is the craziest, fastest, whatever. And now the new million mark is now 2 million. Every new hypercar, the Ferrari F80, the McLaren W1, like they're all $2.5 million cars. There have been countless hypercar manufacturers that come out of the woodwork. Like I was invited to Italy this year, where a hypercar manufacturer brought out this new 2,000 horsepower V12 quad turbo. Blah blah blah. How much does it cost? $2.5 million. Everybody is around that price point because I think there's so many people that want to be like they know that they can sell a car like weirdly quickly because there's so many people with a ton of cash. If you go to like a Pagani or Koenigsegg's are still like 2 to 3 mil, but like a Pagani, they could charge you $9-10 million, and it's sort of based on how much you make. Like how much does this car cost, and they go like, well, I don't know, what's your bank account?
What do you have?
Yeah, what do you got?
That's how much it costs.
Yeah, turn out your pockets. Tell me. I think that there's still levels to this. So like if you have a hypercar market where it's like, well, you have the Porsche 918 and then you have the McLaren P1, those like 2 mil, and then you have the Pagani is at 5 to 7, and then you have like the Gordon Murray, the new S1 LM that just one of the it wasn't even the car doesn't exist yet. It's just like the build slot for that went for $22 million. So like there are people that are buying and paying for this stuff, which is nuts. I think there's after a while you're going to see the wheat separate from the chaff. You're going to see the cars that truly appreciate and people like them for what they are, and then other cars are just going to be like, well, these didn't go anywhere and these are just kind of flash in the pans, and even if they spend $2 million on them, they're not worth it now, and they don't have any support because the company went under or whatever.
How much money should you have to comfortably buy a Lamborghini?
That's a good question. What depends on the Lamborghini, because if you have like the cheapest Lamborghini you can get right now is probably a early Gallardo, and that car in good shape is probably between 80 and 120, 80 grand and 120 grand. I think. I mean, you're the finance guy, so you can tell me what percentage of, your net worth or your income you should spend on this. But like, you should never treat cars, especially cars like that, as investments. I think you should treat them as toys, and you should understand that they're emotional purchases. Whether or not you can make money on the other end, that's fine. It's possible that you can buy this low and sell high. I don't think that should be the point of it, because then that gets in the way of you actually enjoying the thing. I'm a big fan of the Jane Birkin philosophy, where, you have this really high-end bag that's made really well and it's expensive, but you abuse it. Like you just use every inch of it, and it'll have scratches and whatever, but that's what it's there for. If you have a car that is like these, but they have 100,000 miles on them and they have road rash or whatever, but like you use them and they do everything that like you're getting the enjoyment out of it every single day, I think that's like a way better proposition than you're like, well, I had it for 6 months and I made $5,000 and I drove it 3 times. Like, wow, cool, awesome. I feel like you have to have like the reason why you have all of this. It's because it's like a roller coaster that you own. And if you told somebody that you owned a roller coaster, but then at the like in a year you'd be like, oh yeah, I've only ridden it 3 times. Like, why? Why? Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's the bearings and the stuff. It takes a lot of energy to run it and whatever. Like, I'd be on that every single day. Why are you doing that?
How many miles have you driven your Ford GT?
300.
In how many years?
5 years.
You should drive your car more. You should drive your car more. So, okay, now I'm going to pose a question to you. What are you worried about there?
The car has become so valuable, and the values are rising so quickly that I don't want to hit 10,000 miles on the car. And I'm at 7,700, and I know hitting the barriers of like 8 to 9 to 10. When you hit 10, you take about a 15% drop in value consistently.
Yeah, but
on a $500,000 car, that's a lot of money to lose just for going like from 8 to 10. So I'm going to keep it probably in the 8s, but I drive it just to put miles in the car, to keep it going, to keep the fluids going, to keep everything in good condition, to move the tires around. I do that. I do a little loop, fill it up, drive it right back, and I'm really nervous driving the car because it's worth so much money.
Okay, no, so I understand that, and it's not without merit. Why did you get the car in the first place?
Investment.
Okay, so if you treat it as an investment vehicle, sure, 100%. I totally get that. I guess the difference between my philosophy and yours is that like I wouldn't buy a car as an investment. I think I buy them as a story, and also because I buy these cars I don't care what condition they're in. Like the higher the miles, the better to me, because I know that I can get into this car and this experience really low. If I ever get a car that's like super, super low mileage and like, oh, this is a cherry cream puff and, it's never been farted in and whatever. Like, I think the only thing I can do to that car is make it worse. I drive that car 500 feet. It's now worse than it was, it's now worth less because, if you look at that mindset, if you have less than 10,000 miles isn't a magic number. It's just like one more digit, right? It's an arbitrary thing. So why don't you keep it less than, what is it, 7,000 miles now?
Yeah, but there's a psychological point where a lot of buyers see that.
Yes.
Is like 9,800 seems like a lot less than 10,000.
Correct. I mean, it's the psychological point where that's why you go $999 instead of 10. However, I feel like if you cross that barrier to 10,000 and you go, you know what, I'm going to take the hit and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this car, then the ability for you to enjoy the car increases exponentially. So you go from 10,000 because, realistically, a buyer isn't going to have a difference between a 10,000 mile car and a 25,000 mile car. So now you can enjoy this car for 15,000 more miles. It's not like you're enjoying the car for 3,000 more miles and then, you have to take a 15% hit. Like now you can drive the car for 20,000 miles. That's a lot of experiences. So like, is that worth it for you? Or why don't you cash out of that car, like sell it? Because if you're just maintaining it, cash out of that car and then buy a car with some miles on it where you're like, you know what, this is already, somebody's already.
But I already have 2 other cars like that.
Okay.
That's a good point. He could buy a Ford GT with like 11,000 miles or 15,000 miles and
or
actually just drive it
30,000
miles and drive it around, and it will probably appreciate maybe at a similar amount, and you can actually have that spread and put it in the stock
I already
market.
got a great car, man. It's pristine. I got it sorted. I know everything about the car. It's perfect.
Well, listen, it all depends on what you want because again, some people buy cars as investment vehicles, and that's totally fine. Some people buy them as art. Some people just want to look at them in their garage. That's also totally fine. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but I think just for me and my, sensibilities, I like to have experiences and then drive them, and it doesn't matter what, like the higher miles, the better.
Now, by the way, quick thanks to our sponsor, CyberGhost VPN, for sponsoring this video.
CyberGhost is one of the most trusted VPNs out there with over 38 million users worldwide and over 20,000 strong reviews on Trustpilot.
Using a VPN is one of the simplest ways to protect your online privacy. Like a lot more eyes are watching your online activity than you think.
And of course, even incognito mode does not stop it. Your internet provider, your work or school network, and even your home Wi-Fi router can still track what you're doing.
CyberGhost helps by encrypting your online data and running it through their secure servers. You just pick from over 100 locations before you browse.
It also lets you access geo-restricted games and content from over 40 streaming platforms, including Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. And here's a little special sauce I'll sprinkle on top. Changing your location can actually actually help you find better deals online.
CyberGhost works on all major devices like Mac, Apple, iOS, and Android, and you could protect up to 7 devices at the same time.
And guys, if you're thinking about it, using our link in the description gets you their absolute best deal at $2.03 per month, plus 4 months for free, which is 84% off.
They also offer a 45-day money-back guarantee, so it's risk-free to try it out. We like it enough to recommend it to all of you watching.
Once again, the link is down below in the description. Thank you so much to CyberGhost for sponsoring this episode.